Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. Academy Award-nominated actress Taraji P. Henson was brought to tears during an interview on Sirius XM Radio regarding the unequal compensation that black actresses receive in Hollywood.
And I heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, there's a whole entire team behind us. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not, that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%.
That's right.
Okay? So do the math. Now we have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed,
Sometimes
not
more.
after what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So
You're tired.
I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Now, Academy Award-nominated actress Taraji P. Henson was brought to tears during a Sirius XM radio interview as she talked about the inequality in compensation for black actresses in Hollywood. And as she talked about the inequality in compensation for black actresses, she pondered walking away from Hollywood because the fiscal situation was so stressful and overwhelming for her as a black actress. Now, as I listened to Taraji P. Henson's tearful story, I really thought about Monique and Halle Berry, who were dealing with similar struggles, and I thought about what Monique said as related to her struggles a couple of years ago. Now, Monique was very open about dealing with these struggles after winning the Academy Award for her portrayal in Precious in 2010, and after she won this Academy Award, she thought it was going to open a lot of doors for her, the same way Halle Berry thought that winning an Academy Award for Monsters Ball in 2002 was going to open doors for her. And both of these Academy Award-winning actresses, like Academy Award-nominated Taraji P. Henson, thought that having this award or a nomination for this award would allow them to stay on the highest level of business in Hollywood, which is feature films. However, all of these actresses never really got to get the opportunities for work that would allow them to further expand their range and further be able to reach audiences and show their skill sets as actresses. And mainly, they aren't able to get access to those roles for one racist reason, and that is that Hollywood doesn't want to invest in black actresses. It doesn't want to invest in black actresses because they believe that black actresses are not able to be bankable at the box office, and because they don't believe black actresses can be bankable at the box office, what they do is try to minimize and marginalize black actresses as related to getting projects And they believe that if they minimize and marginalize black actresses, they can minimize and mitigate their losses on projects. So this is the main reason they go out here and look to try to lowball black actresses. And because Hollywood wants to lowball black actresses, this makes it very hard for black actresses to work. And this is one of the reasons why you'll see an Academy Award-winning actress like Halle Berry or Taraji P. Henson working on television, which in Hollywood is a step down for a performer who is in feature films, because the hierarchy for actors in Hollywood is usually with indie films and commercials, which is the lowest level, and then you graduate to television, and then you graduate to feature films, which is the top level as related to being an entertainer. However, many black actresses, because of a lack of material, oftentimes wind up on television because they cannot find the material to be able to get work. Now, what really hinders a lot of black actresses from being able to get work is mainly because a lot of screenwriters don't really write material for black actresses like I do. No, many Hollywood screenwriters, they won't write a role specifically for a black actress or tailored to a black actress because they believe they won't be able to sell or option the script. And since they believe that they won't be able to sell or option a script with a black actress, what they do is go out here and write material primarily for white female leads. Now, there are screenplays written by black screenwriters like myself, and if the character is a good character and the character is black, what many studios will do is buy that screenplay from that black screenwriter like myself, and what they will do is buy it from me. And since they have all the rights to that screenplay, what they will do is hire another screenwriter from the studio, have them rewrite that entire screenplay and tailor it to a white actress, and that whole role will basically be written away from a black actress, keeping her from being able to get access to the kinds of stories that will allow her to show her range and show her skill set. That's what many studios do to undermine black actresses, and that prevents them from being able to get work. Now, it's a very known issue about the lack of compensation for black actresses, and again, the reason why they want to lowball the black actress is because they want to be able to get her services for cut rate prices, because if they had to hire a white actress, they would have to pay her more. This is oftentimes done with a lot of supporting roles as related to secondary roles like the best friend and things like that. What they do is hire the black actress because they want to save money on the budget, but this really undermines a black actress from being able to show her range and be able to show her skills. So this really keeps a lot of black actresses from getting access to material. And if you can't get access to material to show your range, what happens is you're not able to go out here and be able to start getting the roles that will allow you to be able to ask a higher price for your work. And as an actress goes through the entertainment industry over the years, what happens is as they're out here performing and trying to get higher up as related to their pay scale, what happens is they wind up not being able to do this. And as they're not able to do this, what happens is what happened to Taraji P. Henson is that the expenses start to overwhelm you, because when you're getting paid low compensation, for roles, you have a lot of business expenses that remain high. And I talk about this in depth in All About Marilyn. I talk about how actresses have to deal with these issues as related to their business, because when you are an actress, you are a business, you are a production company, and you have a production team. And that team is basically one that takes care of your business. You have your agent, you have your manager, you have your assistants, and you have your staff. And like Taraji P. Henson stated, you may get 10 million, but 50% of 10 million is taken off the top by the IRS in taxes. And what's left of the 5 million, you got 10% going to your agent. You've got 15% going to your manager and the people who run your LLC or your corporation, and you've got another 5% that is paid as the salary to your assistants and your staff for taking care of your day-to-day operations. And all of that money leaves very little for a performer. And with black performers, once all that money is taken, there's barely enough to cover basically the property tax on your home and basically be able to feed yourself, not to mention a lot of these gowns and other things that you're renting. All of these, yes, they're business expenses, but they're all expenses that basically eat up an actress's money and make it where this actress is basically living paycheck to paycheck. And that's what was frustrating to Taraji P. Henson. Here's a woman who has basically worked in Hollywood for over 20 to 25 years, and she's not really seeing much as related to so-called success in Hollywood. And since she's not seeing so much as related to success in Hollywood, what's happening to Taraji P. Henson is she just got frustrated as related to things, because yes, she's in movies like The Color Purple and on TV shows like Empire, but she's not able to enjoy the wealth like white actresses like Julia Roberts, Demi Moore, and Gwyneth Paltrow do. No, most black actresses are not able to enjoy that kind of success. Even though they've gone out here and given great performances, they basically are living a second-class life in Hollywood, which continues to not compensate them. And the great irony of this situation is that we just had a SAG-AFTRA strike for better compensation, and black actresses are still being lowballed and still being forced into a second-class life in Hollywood and being treated as second class. That's what's really sad about this whole situation as related to black actresses. All of these sisters have gone out here and given great performances, but when it's time to compensate those sisters, they don't get the same type of compensation in white leftist Hollywood, which talks a good game about looking to make everything fair and try to make things equal. But the irony is, while they talk about fair and equal, and also talked about fair compensation during the SAG-AFTRA strike, we see the anti-black racism as related to black actresses, and that anti-black racism is where they don't look to pay black women for the same roles or even offer them equal opportunity at those roles. This is something I talked about way back in 2009 in my screenplay All About Marilyn, and I couldn't even get that script even get to pass through screenplay contest, even though I've had people black and white sit there and tell me this is a great script. And the reason why I couldn't get that script sold is the same racism that leads to these actresses not being able to get fair compensation. What happens is many of those in Hollywood, they want to sweep the racism that is done to black actresses under the rug, and they don't want to talk about it. because when I was writing the script for All About Marilyn and I was sending it to Screenplay Contest, a lot of people were getting upset, especially when I talked about the racism that white women participate against black women, when I talked about how the slender, attractive black woman has to be dealing with racism every day in Hollywood as related to the way the white women treat black women in Hollywood. Oh, they got real defensive. And when I had a scene where the white female star attacks Marilyn, oh, they got super upset and defensive about it. I mean, again, here was a script talking about the struggles of black actresses, and a lot of these folks in Hollywood really got butthurt when I started presenting facts about it. And a lot of the things that Taraji P. Henson talked about, I presented in that script as related to the struggles of a black actress, even a working black actress. I talk about how, again, due to the lowballing, because I have that in the first 10 minutes of the entire script about the lowballing. I have it in there where the executives talk about being urban and all sorts of things that they talk about. I mean, I put the lingo in there to let people know what people say about black actresses. And listening to Taraji P. Henson, she basically confirms everything I talked about. And this was the thing that they wanted to avoid, because whenever I would present the Maryland script, what would happen is people would go out here and say, oh, he's talking about child stars. He really knows child stars. No, I'm not just talking about child stars. I also talk about how they do black actresses. And I talk about all of the struggles of black actresses as they try to make a living, and how they are basically, you're sitting there thinking they're living this Hollywood lifestyle, but a lot of these women are basically living paycheck to paycheck, and they're living paycheck to paycheck because, again, Hollywood does not go out here and want to present black women as the equal of white women. They don't want to elevate black women to the same status as white women, who are supposed to be elevated to the highest position of society. And they pay them like maids because they basically see them as being in the background of white women. But it's up to black filmmakers to go out here and do something. And that's the sad part about Taraji P. Henson that was sad about Monique. You have black people like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels who could help deal with this situation, but instead of looking to try to create stories for sisters, and when there's a large black female audience, no, what they do is look to try to keep the media arm and the executives of the media arm of white supremacy happy by going out here and producing minstrel shows like the Tyler Perry movies, or dysfunctional narratives like the remake of The Color Purple, never looking to give these sisters the material that would allow them to have the range and show their skills. No, they don't want to do what I did back in 2007 when I wrote All About Marilyn, or what I do when I'm doing other SJS Direct projects like The Temptation of John Haynes, The Thetas, Eternal Night, Spinsterella. They don't want to give the black actresses roles that allow them to show their range by playing different kinds of characters, like faded former teen sitcom stars, black goths, black sorority girls, showing us a richer picture of black life. No, what they want to do is go out here and create narratives that fit white supremacy and lowball black actresses, keeping them in a second-class status in Hollywood. That is what Hollywood wants to do, and that's why they would rather have Taraji P. Henson on Empire playing a ghetto wife rather than showing her range and being able to compete against white actresses, because all of this lowballing is basically all about going out here and making sure that that black actress doesn't have to compete with that white actress. And that's why you see all of these Academy Award winning and Academy nominated actresses struggling the same way that a first year rookie actress or on a low budget TV show is struggling right now. Because when I look at Taraji P. Henson, I look at Monique, and I look at Halle Berry, they are still struggling the same way many low-level actresses on old syndicated shows are struggling. And that's really sad because, again, here are women who are at Hollywood's A-list, and they're still acting in roles for the B-list, which is television, or the C-list, which is indie films or commercials. And it's a shame because it shows how little regard Hollywood has for black actresses and doesn't want to ever deal with it by giving black actresses the fair compensation. Now, some will sit there and say, oh, that black actress has a smaller role and that's why she should be paid less. But when you look at the smaller supporting roles of white actresses, they oftentimes get paid even more on these big budget productions. And what the studios do is look to pay a white actress on who is a C or a B level player the same as a white male supporting actor. And they'll do this because it's just basically the white privilege rules that are out here. But the black actress, she'll be told, oh, you have to take $150,000 for that role in that movie. Meanwhile, they'll tell they'll tell the black actress that she'll have to take $150,000, but that white actress, they'll tell her that she can get $500,000 for that same role, and they'll have no problem giving her that if she's playing a supporting role. Again, double standards as related to black actresses and white actresses, and the white actress will be told that she's a rising star. Meanwhile, people will say, oh, we really don't have any work for that black actress. Meanwhile, in the back, they are taking work away from her by buying screenplays from writers like myself. And as they buy those screenplays, they own those screenplays. And as they have them rewritten, roles that could have gone to a sister are going to some white girl, and that story is completely changed. And that basically takes jobs away from black actresses. That's what nobody really wants to talk about, but I talk about it in depth in All About Marilyn, and I almost came close to being like Taraji P. Henson and being able to talk about it in 2009, but sadly I had a family member get upset and thought I was going to go to Hollywood with a screenplay about a black actress, not understanding I wrote that entire story to shine light on the struggles of black actresses, and I wanted to shine that light to show what happens here. But with Taraji P. Henson, she basically proves everything I talked about to be true. She proved everything I talked about in All About Marilyn to be true. And she basically confirmed every detail that I wrote in All About Marilyn to be true. Because when I wrote All About Marilyn back in 2007, I did extensive research on the struggles of black actresses in Hollywood. I talked about the racism that goes on behind the scenes, and I also talk about how a black actress basically has to struggle day to day because, again, when you're being paid low balls as related to even many of these projects and shut out of roles, you have to take whatever you can find, and oftentimes you have to go to a lot of these direct-to-video or direct-to-streaming because there's not much work out there because people don't write for you, and the good scripts that are written get taken away from you. So this is a problem that black actresses deal with, and again, Monique talked about it back a couple of years ago, and people want to say, oh, there's a double standard, and yes, there is a double standard, but when it comes to black actresses all around, these racists don't want you to see an image of black women out there being beautiful, being intelligent. They don't want to see you to see a black woman elevated to the same level, and they would rather keep black women in a second-class status in Hollywood, and that's what frustrated Taraji P. Henson. She's frustrated because at 52 years old, she sees her career on the same level as a 25-year-old white girl, and she's still struggling and scrapping to fight for the same roles as a 25-year-old white girl, and that's really the thing that frustrates her. And I talked about this in All About Marilyn, about 34-year-old Marilyn Marie, who was struggling the same way Taraji P. Henson is, and it's hard to get those roles after even 25 or so, because again, the screenwriters just don't write for you, and since they don't write for you, you can't find the material that can elevate your skills or showcase your range. And this is the thing that frustrates Taraji P. Henson to the point where she wants to quit, because she's tired of playing hood rats, she's tired of playing baby mamas, she's tired of playing ghetto chicks, and she wants to play something different, something unique, something challenging, and black actresses have a hard time getting those challenging scripts due to the racism in Hollywood. And when I listened to her interview, again, it confirmed everything I talked about in All About Marilyn, and it said that in the 15 plus years that I wrote All About Marilyn, nothing has changed for black actresses in Hollywood, and it's sad to see that when it comes to Hollywood, they still don't respect the work of black women in entertainment. Now, if you want to learn more about the struggles of black actresses in Hollywood and see a detailed account of all the racism that goes on in Hollywood, you can pick up my screenplay All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to see some of my positive black fiction, which presents a rich range of characters and a diverser, richer picture of the black experience for black women, you can pick up the books in the ISIS series, the Esteem series, my black goth novels in the Spinsterella trilogy, Spellbound, The Legendary Mad Matilda, and Spinsterella. And you can also pick up my black sorority novel, The Thetas, or my black vampire novel, Eternal Night, or my black business novel, A Recipe for Success. You can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the struggles of black people in Hollywood and the entertainment industry overall, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, a fabulous first season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, the fabulous first season, in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.